All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for episode 29. It's actually getting warmer outside. Spring is in the air. I can tell that because I have started taking allergy medicine. And I came home today to find all of our toys in my parking spot in the garage. So the wife has signaled that it is time for spring. Welcome to the show. We're in episode 29. We have a great guest tonight. It's always exciting. You know, we all have kind of our different things that we do. And for me, it's exciting to meet new people. So JR, and I'm going to just destroy his last name, and I'll just apologize later. Ginex-Orinion, or right? Brent, how'd you say I was supposed to say it?
Ginex-Orinion.
Okay, yeah, what Brent said. We'll get more details on that later. You know, a show with a budget may have actually asked him that ahead of time, but here we are. Josh Allen, Tech Integration Specialist in Council Bluffs, Iowa, just outside of Omaha. 3 wonderful kids, a wonderful wife, and very excited because all three of us are actually here tonight. This is the first show in over a month that all 3 of us had shown up.
It's rare.
You want to come be on TV? Okay. Sorry, I thought my 2-year-old wanted to be on the show. All right. We will kick it over to Devin with his guest introducer.
All right, Claire's going to do this again. Claire's birthday was yesterday.
Oh, happy! Well, she can't hear us. Tell her we said happy birthday.
No, 2 days ago. When was your birthday?
It was yesterday.
Yesterday was the birthday. So,
Understand.
go ahead.
Is this my dad?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am. I have my mom somewhere in the TV. My sister is in the shower. My dogs are probably in the couch, and my bird is probably in its cage.
That would be good. All right, so there you go. And aside from the particulars of my having a wonderful wife and 2 kids, I'm a K-12 instructional technology program lead in Council Bluffs, Iowa. So there you go.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Thanks,
I feel like the sound was actually better when Devin was not plugged in. But anyway, Brent Catlett here, Director of Technology in Independent School District in the Kansas City, Missouri area. And excited to be here tonight. I couldn't make it the last time, so I'm stoked to be back on the show with you guys.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us during the show, maybe you have questions about if Claire got that panda pajamas for her birthday. If you think that, you haven't watched the show lately because we've seen those panda pajamas before. They're obviously a big deal at the Schoening household. Feel free to tweet at us at Dads and Ed. Use the hashtag Dads and Ed, and we're on Google Plus Dads and Ed. If you missed part of the show, you can check out our website dadsanded.podbean.com or subscribe in iTunes. Last time, 2 weeks ago, if you recall, I was here talking to myself for a while. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I'm sure you did because you subscribe and you listen to the podcast.
Right.
But one of those reasons is because in the 29 shows that we've done, this is the first time that we have added a child to the Dads and Ed family. So, Brent, first off, congratulations on behalf of the thousands of listeners that we have.
Absolutely.
Tell us how the little man's doing.
He is doing great. Let's see, he's almost 3 weeks on Wednesday. Mom and baby are doing wonderful. He's adjusting really well. You know, I wrote a blog post called The Day When Sully Came. It was quite the entrance into the world. Stressful situation probably I've ever been through. It was just unbelievable. Like, in a matter of about 10 minutes when they broke her water, Josie's never had her water break herself. Like, they've always broken it for her. Typically after that, the other children have come fairly smoothly, very blessed with that, you know, healthy kids. And when we broke the water, just for lack of better terms, all hell broke loose. And it was a scary situation. The doctor called in and all the nurses, and this army of nurses converges on the place, and they're flipping Josie over side to side on all fours. And the next thing I know, you know, my stress level's through the roof. Josie's crying. I'm a wreck. 10 minutes later, she has the baby, and as he's coming out, the doctors unravels the umbilical cord once, clamps, cuts, pulls him a little further, unravels it another time, hands him off to the doctor, or excuse me, to the nurses, and I hear I see that it's a boy, because it was a surprise to us this time, and I'm excited about that, and then I'm like, oh God, I just want to hear some crying, and they got him over to the little warmer area, checking him in station, and they, do the, suction out of his mouth, and he starts screaming, and I'm like, oh, best sound I ever heard, but for 10 minutes of my life, I think I lost about a year on my heart, and, just, it was unbelievable, but just so thankful that he's here now and doing really well. Everything is great. We were a little concerned about his kidneys throughout the pregnancy, but none of that's all cleared up, and they're giving him a full, good health, and so, yeah, just truly blessed, and was certainly my dad moment of the week for the last couple weeks here, but it's just been an amazing time. I took a couple weeks off work and got to spend time with him and the rest of the kids, and I think the funniest part of this for us as a family has been Oliver, our next youngest. So my wife, when she had the baby, she's up to the hospital, of course, for a couple days, and I would take her and the kids up to see her and the baby, and they loved it. And then Ollie was kind of like, oh, bye, he's waving bye, and everything's good to go. And then when we brought baby home, he was this kind of like sitting over on the side, like up against the walls, and just kind of like, wait, this kid's staying around? Like, I thought we were just visiting, So it's been kind of an interesting thing to see them all adjust to him, and especially Oliver. But truly blessed, but man, it was a crazy birth for sure.
Hey, and what about, I know you said that you were surprised this time, didn't know what you were having, boy or girl. Compare that. There's no way we could have ever done that in our house. Talk about that. Is that different? Was that weird not knowing this time and waiting to see?
Very, very strange situation. You guys, stop. Sorry, I suddenly had 2 visitors. It's pure chaos at the house now with 5, but yeah, for both of us are planners, and we wanted to know names, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was much different. I was definitely I don't know, I can't say I liked it. I'll say that.
Well, that's good that at least for the last one you can enjoy a little craziness, and everything can come out well. I would be in the same boat about finding out. I could not sit through that. I know my sister-in-law has done that, and I don't know. God bless you for being able to do it.
Yeah, it was one of those things, and we struggled on names till the very end, and for me anyway, it was always good to know it was a boy or know it was a girl, and I could start putting that name kind of with this person and feel almost like before they were born I could figure that out. So I don't know, it was a little different this time for sure.
Well, good. Yeah, you're talking about names. We actually, my 2-year-old has decided to find a new game now. All right, good interruptions tonight. We actually changed my my only son's his middle name right before he was born. So that was the most excitement that we've had as far as the name changing goes.
Sorry about that. I'm trying to kick out 2 kids out of the. Usually they're in bed. My mother-in-law's here visiting, which is nice. She's supposed to be helping, but they're all watching Bachelor tonight as the finale. So I got 1 kid down, the other kid's sleeping, the baby, and like I said, we were going to have a Lion King moment. I was going to bring him out here. But that doesn't show up well on a podcast, so.
Yeah. Certainly not worth waking the baby either. No. Yeah, never wake the sleeping baby.
Nope. Then I'll be getting death stares, and yeah, no thanks.
Especially on Bachelor night, right? Yeah. I mean,
this is a borrowed hour. I'm on thin ice, boys. Like this is close to. I almost had to call this one off,
Well, if your internet connection suddenly goes down, we at least know what the culprit is going to be because of that.
Well, yeah, I'm actually hardwired into my situation here, and the daughter, they're running around on the couch / these ottomans, and she kicked the connection. I thought, oh, I'm gone, but thankfully it didn't come out. So, Other than bending it, I'm sure it's broken now. But
Well, hey, at least if it's gonna break, you might as well break when it's working.
yeah, I'm trying to tell this riveting story, but so that's just how it goes.
All right, gentlemen. Well, we are pleased to be joined by our guest, JR. I totally murdered your name when I was doing an introduction, and I said that if we had a really good staff, we would have actually contacted you ahead of time, and maybe got ourselves a heads up, but we didn't. So would you please help me out, and because I'm sure you're great at your last name.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. All right. Yes. It's actually JR Ginex-Orinion is the last name.
Ginex-Orinion. Okay, I got that.
It's like onion with an R-I, yeah.
I got that. Okay. Where does that come from?
Oh gosh. Okay, so good. It's a story in itself. I'm actually the Orinion. The last part is my true last name. I'm Filipino, so and it's actually not a typical Filipino name because most Filipino last names are like Spanish and certain names and so forth. So it's very like old school style Spanish anyway. And then the Ginex part is actually my wife's name. It's a Sicilian name. It's not a typical Italian name either. So and the story is I took my wife's name when we got married. And it's because she has sisters and the name wasn't going to go on. So her dad's very Sicilian. He's like this big giant man. And we had this discussion beforehand, and then I ended up talking to him about it. I came over and I said, hey, Mr. Ginex, I was planning to take your last name, and he's this big burly of a man. He does one of these, he's Sicilian, and he's like, you're in the family now. So and it kind of freaked me out. I wasn't sure if that was a good thing or a bad thing coming from a Sicilian. So I think I think I'm in the will now. So I guess that's
that's the important thing.
Yeah. So I can't ever leave the family apparently. So.
I was gonna say, yeah, there's no going back from that. Once you're in, you're in. Right?
Yeah, there's no going back at all. No.
You're out. Out means really out.
Yes.
Out of any family.
Oh gosh.
Fortunately, nobody listens to this show, so you'll be good. Don't worry about it.
I may have to go into hiding.
If someone ever found our iTunes store or our website or the live show, yeah, you'd have to worry about it. But you're good. Don't worry. You're with friends.
Okay, good. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah, there's like the three of us and maybe two other people that we know that sometimes listen, and that's not even every week. So.
And that's not our wives either. Don't worry.
That's not even every week. Yeah, that's good.
I have to say too, just before we get into real questions about things, that's a legit microphone.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I'm loving the microphone. I'm not kidding.
This is a this is
a Yeti.
Yeah, it is a Yeti. So
that's legit. I like it.
So
I used to have the Snowball until I changed jobs and.
You had to give it back?
Being an honest man, yeah, I left it there. I'm sure it's collecting dust right now, but and now I'm on a Chromebook, so I don't even know. I suppose it would probably work, but I did order a new one, but
good.
The Yetis are fancy.
Oh yeah, well this one's not even the fanciest one. This is just the USB one. Apparently they got ones that plug right into amplifiers and stuff. So.
I've heard the new ones aren't worth the price. I'll just throw that out there.
What's something like that cost?
Well, there's that one too. What's it called? The Nessie or something like that. It's I heard it's even better than this one, but I don't know. So
the Snowball.
I stuck with this one.
Snowball is like $50. That's what I use. They're fantastic.
Yeah. So.
But anyway, let's actually talk real questions. So we didn't even let you really get a chance to introduce yourself. So JR,
So
let's circle back around. Now that you've corrected me and set me on the straight and narrow, tell us a little bit about your family, about your job.
Yeah. So I'm married. I have 2 girls. So I'm above dog. So,
Barely.
barely. So I'm not the boss of the house. In fact, my 3-year-old like kind of bosses me around sometimes. But she's a punk, man. That kid. So
Don't say
yeah.
that too loud. The family might hear it.
Oh yeah. It's I'm in trouble. Yeah, so I live in Southern California. I moved to Southern California actually when I was 13, so I'm an immigrant. And then I lived. Where else did I live? I lived in D.C. So I lived in D.C. for a few years when my wife was going to school, so I was helping support her. And then, but I kind of decided, the couple of winters in D.C. was too cold for me. And I've traveled across the U.S. and stuff. I've been to Omaha where Brent is, and I couldn't hang there, man. Like it was too cold. It was too cold. And then oh look, your little kiddo's right there, Brent.
Yeah, they're not leaving me alone tonight. So.
Aw,
I'm
but
sorry, I'm
she's
gonna be
adorable. Hi, Kennedy.
I can't hear you, but
Okay.
here,
Anyway.
let me unplug. You guys can say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, kiddos.
Now they won't speak.
Kennedy, you're trying to hide there, but we can still see you.
So.
Kennedy, do you like your new little brother?
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys have a little one.
Yeah, look, Charlie, put it here. Let me hold it. Charlie got this new gold.
Ooh.
Pretty happy about it.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's pretty sweet,
Very
Charlie.
cool.
Yeah.
I look at backstage.
Oh yeah? I can't understand that.
I didn't see
We're
that.
working on his speech.
That's okay.
That's right.
I didn't mean it like that, Brent. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, it's
I
one
can't
of those
understand my 2-year-old either. Don't worry.
Yeah.
What a jeez.
Don't try to justify it. I just meant he's young.
should
That's
be
right. I have
kindergarten by
to. I have to have my 6-year-old translate my 3-year-old. Sometimes like, what did you say?
Ours does too.
So.
Yeah, JR, I'm a little disappointed I hadn't got a, congratulations from you.
Oh yeah, wait a minute.
So,
Wow.
I thought I was waiting for my card in the mail, but he said it's Omaha. He said it's
yeah, he's
Omaha,
gonna rub
Josh.
it
I
in.
live in Kansas City now, so.
I'll go
that's
pick it up.
right.
I'll just
Apologize.
swing to the house and pick it up. Don't worry.
Yeah, swing by, would you? Like a gift card in there, or diapers or something.
Huggies gift card.
By the way, number one diaper and up would be appreciated.
Well, that can be the Dad's and Ed charitable event for the year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Diapers for the host.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, all right. We are on the fast track downhill. JR,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
continue
So
on.
I don't know what I'm at. Oh, I taught science for a long time. I was a chemistry teacher, and then this year I left the classroom actually to become a digital learning coach, which is basically a tech coach for another district altogether. I do miss the classroom, but I love what I do. Like I love supporting teachers, and I've been doing this for a little bit of time now, and I get to, in my new position, I get to kind of practice what I preach and spread my wings a little bit. So I really like. I feel like my reach is bigger. So and with all this technology kind of coming into schools, I feel like I'm making a difference. So I guess that's what matters, right? So.
Yeah.
So, Jay, where are you in Southern California?
I am in Orange County, so it's about half an hour south of LA.
Oh, yeah, I have lots of family who live in the city of Orange and in Anaheim.
Okay, yeah. I work in Tustin.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the neighboring city. So.
Yeah, I was born in Anaheim.
Okay, cool.
Only lived there for a handful of months, but yeah. So, I just figured, it's a small community, and I figured maybe we knew some of the same people. I mean, there aren't many people that live in Southern California, so.
Yes, there are. We're actually, where are you now, Devin?
I am in Iowa, Council Bluffs, Iowa, right across the river from Omaha.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about some of the things you get to do and what's going on in California education-wise.
Yeah. So, the district that I work at right now has just implemented a one-to-one program. So, It is they have gone iPads from K through 8, and then laptops, Toshiba laptops from 9th to 12th. And it's one of the only districts in Southern California that's gone one-to-one. It's a pretty big implementation. So luckily, our leadership had the vision of hiring enough digital coaches to support all their teachers, which I think is very important. And so I'm part of that team of people who goes out, on a I meet with a specific set of teachers. They actually have to apply to become part of this program. We call it the Digital DLC Fellowship Program. So we call them fellows, and they have to apply to become a fellows for us to work with them. And so it's great because we have motivated teachers, and we support them, on a weekly basis. So we meet with them about half a day once a week, and then we work on like a coaching cycle. So we'll kind of pre-brief, talk about the lesson that they want to implement, see where we can infuse technology, and then implement, and then we always debrief afterwards what went well, what didn't go well, and so forth. So that's sort of my week. Let's see. The interesting thing is, my wife, she's a corporate attorney, so she's really busy and even though she works part-time for attorneys is actually full-time, so for us. So she works actually all the way up in LA right now. She's got a contract job that she's doing up there, so she doesn't get home till like 8:30, 9 o'clock sometimes in the evening. So majority of the time, I'm the primary caregiver. So as soon as I'm done with work, I go home, I go to the store or go to the market if I need to, and I pick up the kids or in whatever order actually, and that I feel like, and then make dinner and get the kids ready for bed. And sometimes Lori gets home early enough to say goodnight to the kids, sometimes not. So, but I'm the primary caregiver in the afternoons and the evenings. So my day is pretty busy until about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Has that impacted your, I don't know, just you as an educator, being a dad and having that responsibility in the evenings? I mean, does that impact you in any ways?
Yeah, I felt like I was a pretty good, I worked really hard at what I did. I'd plan lessons in the evenings and so forth, and sometimes I'd stay late. I can't stay late nowadays, because of the kids, and so I really have to manage my time wisely. And it's tough, it definitely is a difficult balance. Especially, I've known Brent a few years now, and being in ed tech, it's even more challenging because you kind of need to keep up with the pace of with innovation and the technologies and the devices and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know how I do it. I really don't.
Nights after they go to bed, and
I do the best I can, and I've had many conversations. Actually, I've had conversations with Brent before, and one of my buddies, Sean, he lives in New Jersey. We became really close after one of these conferences that we attended in New York City, and we talk about everything, not just our jobs, but our family life, and we support each other in that too. So I'm happy actually to be on the show because I get to meet dads kind of doing the same thing that I do. So and kind of bounce ideas off of you guys, and I love doing that kind of stuff, brainstorming with people and
I'm thrilled to get you on here, JR. We've saved you for 29th, so I've been trying to get you on there, and Devin, he's kind of stubborn that way sometimes. He had 28 other people he wanted on before you. But, I'm just teasing. But no, we have had a lot of good conversations about that stuff and hangouts like this, and it's great to have you on the show, though. I know you bring a lot to the table, both ed tech wise and as a dad, and so.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Really do.
It's been good to get you on and chat.
Yeah.
That one thing that I do want to kind of follow up with, and Brent kind of hinted at it too. We talk about this whole balance thing all the time, and you're right on when you say that as a technology integration, digital, educator, you kind of feel like the train is moving pretty fast, and you do need to keep up. And we struggle with it, and our wives are at home at night. What are some things that you do that do let you keep up, or how do you talked about having to manage your time? What are some things that you do to kind of maximize that?
That's a good question. Because I'm so busy and because I try to keep up as much as possible, I try to come up with shortcuts to things or workflows to things that help me manage my time wisely. And I'm really thoughtful and sort of almost kind of like analytical about how much time I spend on things. I helped moderate a Twitter chat like on Sundays. And I used to, value the Sundays, value it with my family and all that stuff. But I said, I kind of made a commitment to this thing, and even though there's 8 of us moderators, I'm still responsible for a certain amount of time doing that, and it's all volunteers. So, I kind of have a conversation with my wife. I'm like, listen, I kind of need to do, once every 2 months, I got to do this thing, and so, I just try to come up with efficiency, using efficiency tools. It could be simple as using like Google Docs to share information to something really complicated where I take a photo with my phone. It gets uploaded to Dropbox. Because Dropbox is installed on my computer, I can drop it right into a learning management system and then build a portfolio for the teachers that I support. And it's really easy to kind of edit the images right then and there using iPhoto, on my MacBook. So it's kind of like, I try to come up with a map in order for me to get to where I want to go from where the input is and then to the output. And then I try to find the most efficient way to get there. It's kind of like, when you're a teacher, you're trying to, okay, well, how do I send an assignment out to kids? And then how do I give them feedback? How do I grade it? What's the easiest way to grade it? And what's the best way to collect it? So, and so if that happens to be, like a learning management system like Haiku or, or Canvas or something like that, then use that. Sometimes it's, sometimes it's using Doctopus, as a script in Google Drive. So it allows you to do all that stuff. So it all depends. So I try to, in my job, what I do is I customize workflows for teachers. And so, and because I'd like to think I'm pretty good at it. So, and I want to help teachers become more efficient with their time. And I'll tell you this, one thing that teachers always value is time. There's things that teachers need, right? So, do you need a calendar, right? Everyone works off a calendar. Everybody needs a grade book, something that works, right? And if it's all digital, then you got to find a good one. And everyone values their time. If it's time to go fishing, time with their family, time for, more lesson planning, time for, like getting on Twitter, getting on Hangouts and so forth. Like everyone values time. So if I can save teachers, time, on the document management side, great. If I can save them time on lesson planning or designing and so forth, and I do the best I can with that. So.
And kind of following up on that, I guess, in the work that you get to do with teachers, what are some of your favorite ed tech things you're working with teachers right now? Whether it's tools or whether it's concepts, things that you guys are working on. What are some of your favorite things to work on right now or work with?
Okay, well, I'm a science teacher at heart, so I love. I told Brent this, I think, at some point. I love the fact that I tell kids to light fires and blow stuff up, and I don't get fired for it. But the kinds of things that I work on, it's sort of like that. So workflows. I try to. It's almost kind of like this puzzle because there's so many different kinds of things, so many tools out there that people can use, and I try to keep up, with the latest and best and the newest and so forth. But there's some, I try to come up with some really, efficient workflows for my teachers on, on the collection part, on the grading part. One kind of project I'm working on right now is like the idea of, the idea of like all that information, like it's called big data. So, and we take a look at all these, statistics and all these information from from all these different systems that we use, and then we try to come up with an explanation on, hey, why is that the case? So that's sort of like this side project that I'm kind of working on, and I'm just kind of taking notes right now, doing research on it, because I don't know too much about it, but I love learning about it. Kind of like the idea of, so let me explain, right? I watched this one video, the idea of, okay, so like if I ask you guys, what's America's favorite pie?
Apple.
You would say apple. Right? But what they've found out is apple is actually, you'd think it would be apple pie would be the best, but but that was because back in the day they had 30-centimeter pies, like about this big. And the supermarkets decided to sell pies about this big, 11-centimeter ones. And so when he started selling all different kinds of pies about this size, and they found out is apple pie actually was like the fourth or fifth favorite. And the reason why was because apple pie was actually everybody's second favorite pie, because it was the default when you bring a pie home to family and you go, oh well, yeah, sure, apple's good, but the smaller, more data that you gather, the better story that you're going to be able to come up with. And so that's sort of like the idea of big data, and kind of like so if student achievement is really high on for one grading period, and it happens to be on one specific week, and you take a look at data on a learning management system, like Haiku, for example, because that's the one we use. What kind of traffic are we seeing at that time? Well, it seems to be it's all directed towards a specific page, and there's a video on that page, a YouTube video, that's getting a lot of hits and a lot of views. So if you look at the data and go, well, maybe we can make a correlation where you can say that that video must be a good learning resource, and so we'll tag that and then archive it, or like link, come up with a link for it, and then somehow come up with resources for that specific subject area or whatever. Yeah. So it's kind of like that kind of like storytelling, that kind of like correlations of, taking a look at this, and then kind of, telling a story that way. So.
Very cool. Hey, JR, changing subjects a little bit, but I know that I've heard you talk about Q, C-U-E. Yeah. Tell me, and I want to say Coffee Q rings a bell to me, and I don't know if... So can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because we were brainstorming on questions, and that came up in my mind as something I wanted to ask you about, to talk about.
Yeah, so Q is an organization mainly based on the West Coast. It's called Computer Using Educators, although it's kind of a misnomer now because every educator uses a computer at this point on the West Coast. So, they are they have different affiliates across up and down California and into Nevada as well. And they put on tech fairs and tech festivals, and then a large conference that's happening next week, actually. And Coffee Q was a brainchild of a friend of mine, and basically it's just sort of like this quick meetup of teachers in a local area. So what you would do is you'd send a tweet out, hey, there's a Coffee Q event over at Starbucks on Beach Boulevard and Talbot or something like that. And if people are on Twitter, then or they kind of see them, or they follow the Coffee Q hashtag, they'll and if you just they'll hear about it, and then they just kind of show up. Sometimes it's sponsored by the affiliates, so then they'll have like gift cards for free coffee or something like that. And sometimes I've hosted a couple, so I'll just actually ask the the general manager of the coffee shop and go, hey, would you mind donating a couple of cups of coffee for some teachers? We're going to have a quick meeting or something like that, and they're more than happy to go ahead and give teachers a free cup of coffee. So, and then we just sit down probably for an hour and just kind of share about what we're doing, tools we're using, maybe workflows, maybe ideas and websites and resources and so forth. So it's very unstructured. But yeah, it's just like a normal, informal meetup of teachers in a local community. So,
well,
very cool.
JR, you'll be happy to know we have adopted that here in Nebraska.
Awesome.
I don't know if you know Christina Peters, Mrs. KM Peters on Twitter.
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah.
So she had been out. I don't know if because we're in an Ed Camp Voxer group, and I don't know if it came from there or when she was out in California,
Mm-hmm.
So she has spearheaded that effort. She works for the State Department of Ed, so she's always traveling around. So she has modified the coffee queue idea and has been doing it at the small, infrequent coffee shops across the state. Sometimes the towns are small enough it's hard to find a coffee spot.
That's right. We're good with the Denny's, so if you find a Denny's, we'll do it there. So
Anywhere with some Wi-Fi, maybe, right?
yeah, any place. My buddy Sean in New Jersey, we joke about it all the time. He's like, you know what? Let's just go find a Denny's. We'll do an iPad workshop real quick. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. So,
Hey, get your Grand Slam and your App Smackdown all at the same time.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Very cool. JR, I had a chance. You mentioned a little bit earlier about meeting you out in New York at the Google Teacher Academy.
yeah.
I was thinking about it earlier as we got on before we went live, and I don't know that we've had any Google certified teachers or have talked about that at all on any of our other podcasts. Can you just maybe give a brief, what that conference was like and what it did for you at the time and has kind of continued to do today?
Yeah, sure. Google puts on these conferences. Actually, is happening more often now than before. They would usually have one domestic and one international. Last year, they did something different. They had 2 domestic, I think, or maybe even 3, and then several international ones. The conference is called the Google Teacher Academy. So, in order to attend the conference, you actually have to apply. So they only take anywhere from 50 to 60 applicants for each academy. They are held at Google offices across the country and around the world. And in the application, you have to again fill out the application, and then you also have to submit a 1-minute video, kind of addressing a prompt. And it sounds pretty cool. I don't know if talking about what happens at the academy makes any sense, because it's just a bunch of teachers kind of getting together and really sharing ideas and really growing and trying to solve problems and so forth. It's not really like that fancy, or if you try to describe it, it doesn't do it justice. But I'll tell you the benefit of being a Google certified teacher. So you become a Google certified teacher after attending the academy, and that's a different level. So you could be a Google educator by taking the exams, but a Google certified teacher is someone that's been invited to the academy. But in any case, the benefit of being a part of the Google Teacher Academy is the network of teachers that you get to know, not just in your cohort. And Brent happens to be or was in my cohort in New York City along with my buddy Sean. But you get to know all these other Google certified teachers, and it's a pretty small community. Well, I mean, it's getting larger now, but I would say around the world there's probably about I would say close to 2,000 maybe. And that's not much. I mean, 2,000 educators across the world who are pretty, not just tech savvy, but they're just really brilliant educators, brilliant teachers, and they're family people as well. So and just being part of that community and being able to, it's pretty amazing. I can put a question up on this forum. If I need a science resource, for example. Not only I'll get an answer in 5 minutes, but not only that, but I'll get the rubric to go with it. I'll get, like all different iterations of it and so forth. And it's like that kind of support that you get being involved or being a part of such a close-knit type of community. So think about like a PLN that's kind of like on steroids, sort of. So that's the best way to describe it.
I had the trumpeting sound queued up, ready to go. But I learned tonight, because we like to give Brent a lot of crap anytime he brings up Google and drops, something like this, or being in Miami or something like that. Fun fact I didn't know, if you are muted on a Hangout and you play a sound, no one else hears it. I did not know that until tonight. Exactly. So I hear it in my, headphones, and I'm like, I got nothing. He kept talking. Like, he just kept on going. I'm like, wow. Oh, I'm muted. Never mind.
Comedy, man.
Anyway.
Comedy. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome when it works. It's
Yeah.
horrible when it fails.
You know, it's interesting too. I mean, that's a couple years ago for us already, and time flies, of course. And you know, as I've evolved as an educator, it was certainly a great moment in my career in the sense of meeting those people. I heard that one, Josh.
Thanks. I had to try and redeem myself.
Yeah. But it's funny too because you know I've talked to a lot of people and Josh and Devin. Well, Josh is now JR moved into a Google system. He wasn't in his previous district, and Devin has been and does amazing stuff with Google. And it's funny because, I mean, yes, it's a great title to have on my resume, but it doesn't mean I'm a better Google educator than Devin or the next guy. Sure. And so I know some folks avoid doing it maybe for fear of not getting accepted or that they don't need that necessarily or whatever. And I'm totally cool with that. But it's just interesting how that's evolved for me in my thought process, or even just my encouragement of others to try it out or do something like that, because it really is and has been for me always about that group I met and those connections that I made while I was there. I still stay in contact with all of them. So it kind of takes that Twitter PLN to a whole nother level where you're at this one conference together. Like you mentioned, it wasn't that what we were doing there was like super spectacular or we learned all this amazing Google stuff necessarily that we didn't even know, but just that you met all these amazing people. And I know when I was there, I was kind of like, God, if you could just bottle up the energy of that room and go make a school, it would have just been amazing. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there because I know I've given Josh a hard time about both these guys, but Josh particularly, who wasn't in a Google district, and now he is, so he needs all the Google help he can get.
Always looking for another pitcher of Kool-Aid, my friend.
Man.
Well, JR, we completely appreciate your time. We are so glad that we got a chance to. For me, I said at the beginning of the show, this type of stuff is great because I get to meet you for the first time and get a new person to follow. So Brent redeems himself. He gets to come back next week and continue to be a host on the show. So we appreciate your time. We are going to do a couple other things if you'd like to stick around, but if you need to go, we completely understand that too.
I think I'm gonna need to get going. I think I hear the kiddos like just pull up. So my wife actually stayed home from work today because she was kind of under the weather. So I'm gonna go ahead and have dinner with the family right now. But hey, thanks guys for inviting me. That was really fun. I hope to stay in touch with you guys, and I'd love to do it again in the future if possible.
All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt.
Thanks, JR. Appreciate your time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
See you.
All right. On to our app or site of the week. Brent refuses to put it in our little show notes because he's trying to be all secretive about it. So, Brent, what do you got?
Well, since you guys were giving me such a hard time about it,
you had a Google one queued up, didn't you?
No, I'll tweet it after I talk about it here. That way I can focus. No, I want you to check out AdamJonesED.com. Pretty simple there, Adam Jones. It spells like it is. Then ED for education, I'm assuming. .com. This is a podcast site that this fella. Oh, you're gonna love this. I saw him at Miami Device. Didn't get an actual
of course.
guy. But
Why
he was
did
at
I
Miami
not
Device.
have that trumpet queued up again? There we go.
Yeah. And so anyway, he visited with Mr. Badura Craig, who was a previous guest on the show a couple shows back, and he interviewed him and Felix Giacomino. And if you go to AdamJonesED.com, he's got all his shows and the show notes up, and you can subscribe to it in iTunes as I have. I was mentioning to Josh before we went live about listening to these as I travel a little bit in the car on occasion. But anyway, good stuff. I mean, and I'm really impressed with this guy and does a nice job. And obviously I enjoy a good podcast like Dad's and Ed, and this is another really good one. So at least that I've come across, and I think he does a nice job interviewing people and does a really nice job with the show notes and stuff. So give that a listen, give it a check out. I think it's worth it.
I will real quickly second that. I've listened to a few episodes as well. But like Brent said, we were talking before the show, and I've been not doing a very good job of opening iTunes, but he's definitely got his you look at this show and it's three guys that sit around and talk. He's definitely got himself organized, which good for him. No, it's great. It's phenomenal. So definitely check that out. I did just tweet it from Dad's and Ed if you want.
Perfect. I'll retweet that.
that one.
Perfect. Thank you.
Devin.
Let's see. I've got Twitter follow for the night. If somebody is not following Brett C. Clark in Indiana, his Twitter handle is @Mr. Brett Clark, and I've really just gotten to him more a little bit, I guess, less from Twitter and more in Boxer in our group that we're in, and just a great guy. I really enjoy kind of conversing with him a little bit there and following him on Twitter. And he's doing lots of great work in Indiana. So @Mr. Brett Clark is my my Twitter follow for the night.
That leaves us with coming event, and I thought long and hard about what it is that we should talk about for a coming event, and it comes down to Ed Camp Omaha.
Yeah.
I may have mentioned it once or twice before that I organized this little thing called Ed Camp Omaha. It is actually coming up before our next show, March 21st. Fun fact, we reached 200 registrations faster than we ever have in any of the last 4 years that we've had it. So
that's awesome.
Very excited. We are going to be at the brand new $26 million Community Engagement Center on the UNO campus. It was actually not even open last year, so we are definitely excited about that. The other big news that we announced is that thanks to Strive.tv, Brent, for those of you not watching or not seeing the video, Brent is showing off his Ed Camp Omaha t-shirt.
Yep.
Shout out to Chris Poltz at @CPoltz, who did the logo design because he was playing with a new Photoshop version that he had and he needed something to work on. So glad he could do that. Thanks to Strive TV and Common Sense Media, we are providing lunch for the first time ever. UNO has kind of moved some of their policies around and allow pizza to come in. So thanks to Common Sense and Strive TV for footing that bill for us. But I'm really excited. Like I said, 200 people for the fastest ever. We are well past that now. And still got a few more people to reach out to and to send some reminders out, but should be a good time.
This is year 4, right, Josh?
5. We're on
5. Jeez, I'm sorry.
birthday.
Okay. Yeah, because I was trying to think. I mean, when we started at the UNO Alumni Center, right?
That's right. First year we were at the Alumni
It was
Center.
like snowing that day, and people were kind of freaked out. And gosh, and I wore my shirt tonight to represent because I knew by the next show it would already be in the past. But looking forward to making the trip back to Omaha to attend, and I wouldn't miss it.
Well, last check we had 208 people registered, which means 209 should probably be there since Devin Schoening is not one to register.
I have not registered yet, but I am planning to be there.
Devin.
I'm not a big fan of registering, but
Devin warned me 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were at Ed Camp Iowa. He goes, "I will be there. I am not going to register. Just know that."
I went to Ed Camp Liberty on Saturday.
Yeah, how was it?
It was their second, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. Kind of got me tuned up for Omaha, but I went to 3 sessions. One of the sessions I spoke to a gal in the hallway, Jamie Greason, who's from down here in Kansas City. I had a great conversation with her about all kinds of things that were on my mind. So we had our own mini session in the hall, and then I went to 3 others that no one had projectors. They were just great conversations, and not to say that you can't have a projector, but I just appreciated the diversity of the sessions, and there were a lot of them. They had over 200 people show up, just over 200, and it was very well represented district-wise, because I'd kind of heard through the grapevine that maybe last year it was kind of more Liberty folks. They had gone to Kansas City Ed Camp, and then turned around, and then that spring had this, Kansas City is typically November. And then they turned around and had their own in beginning of March. And so I know Christina went, Peters, and I remember on a Saturday morning I was in Bellevue and I was like, missed out that was happening. And I was like, Christina, I was supposed to go with you, and I kind of missed it. But anyway, so I was a little worried it was going to be all Liberty folks kind of sharing Liberty type things, but it really turned out to be the polar opposite of that, and I really enjoyed overall. The day was fantastic, and had some Independence people from my district show up, about a half a dozen, which I think was great, so that I kind of marketed to, and so yeah, it was fantastic.
Good. All right. Well, we are, like we said, off again until March 23rd. Another 2-week break. Eric Curtis, I think we can say it. We can officially announce that, right?
Yeah, just Kurtz. Kurt.
Oh, Kurtz. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
My screen was not showing that right. Eric Kurtz, tech director from Ohio, will be joining us. So we are very excited for that. We actually have shows booked out basically through May 18th, which is not common for this group. But we are definitely, we do a really good job like every 3 or 4 months of getting things booked out, and then sometimes it's spur of the moment. So we are, dare we say, organized.
And as we speak, I'm efforting that May 4th show. So
nice, good.
It looks like maybe Brett Clark might be interested in doing May 4th. So
well, good. Well, we name dropped him, so
that's right.
Let's get that on.
That's what we do. That's what we do right here. Just name drop people and hope they see the tweet, and then they're stuck. Then they're in. It's like public record.
You know, I was looking through, gentlemen, the list, though, honestly, as I was looking through the podcast and on iTunes, I was like, you know, we've had some awesome people on here. And at the end of the day, I don't care if a single soul watches. I really don't, or listens. I always enjoy getting together with you guys. So I want you to know that. And I always enjoy the folks we've had on. Have always been enlightening and inspiring and kind of push my thinking, or it's always great. So I truly enjoy just, you know, like I said, the bare minimum, just hanging with you guys.
Well, Shaylin is trying to help us get Brett too. She says that she was just tweeting, it's a blast. She told Brett it's a blast to be on this show. So I'm not sure, you know. But she said she was once a VIP for Mother's Day, and she said that one was off the charts.
Hey, she did some great stuff. Remember Valentine's?
It was.
No, it was Mother's Day. That's right.
Yeah. Mother's Day. Yep.
Yeah, with the gift.
I was thinking about that. How do we, if we need to incorporate that again? That was a great show.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you bring that up, Brent, because I was thinking that tonight too. Like some of these people, like I said, JR I had not met before. Michael Matera, who we had on, was phenomenal. I've been picking his brain. I've turned some more people on to the stuff that he's doing, and it is fun to, you know, have the big names that we've had on before, but, you know, a lot of these people that we've had on, you know, I've just been blown away by. So.
Well, and I tell you what, we could have, JR, I'm telling you what, he's a gem. Like, he's the type of guy, he's very, he's got that kind of nerdy side of when he talks to octopus and stuff, he's running scripts or creating them himself. And I mean, I can say I go to a certain line and then I need help, and that's the kind of guy I call for help, because he's just a very knowledgeable cat. And so yeah, it's amazing some of these folks we've had and that are out there. It's kind of fun to rally all of the different folks that we interact with and you kind of engage with that maybe you know or I know, but maybe I don't, and vice versa. Right. So that's been kind of cool to do that over, you know, when you look at the scope of this as it's grown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So we will see everyone March 23rd, normal time, Eric Kurtz. Until then, check us out on dadsanded.podbean.com or in iTunes, and we will see everyone then.
Night.
Night.